All right, so today we're talking about cosine rule. This is another rule that is used to determine side lengths and angle measures of non-right triangles. Okay, cosine rule is used when you are given all three sides. Okay, when you're given all three sides, and it's also used when you're given two sides and an included angle. Okay, so side, angle, side. So for example, say you know side B and side C, and you're given angle A, you would use cosine rule. All right. Now you have two different types of formulas. I have written out all the different ways that you can rearrange the first type of formula. The ones at the top are used when you are trying to find a side length. Okay. So whatever side you do not know. So for example, if you didn't know side A, you wanted to find side A, you know angle A. Okay? Or if you were looking for side B, you would know angle B along with sides A and C. Okay? So really and truly, the formula setup does not change. It really is whatever two sides you know, you're going to square them and add them, and then you're plugging into the rest of the formula, and then you'll take the cosine of the angle that you do know. And that angle is always opposite of the side that you're trying to find. Now, this first one is the only formula that's actually in your reference book. Okay, all these other ones aren't. But the thing is, you need to be able to really plug in whatever letters the triangle is, so that way you can find whatever side you're not looking, or whatever side you're trying to find. The ones down here, okay, the first one is given to you in your reference booklet. So it kind of follows the same thing. Whatever angle you're trying to find, you subtract the side opposite of that angle you're trying to find. It always works out that way. You use these formulas when you're trying to find an angle versus a side. Now granted, yes, you can use either of these formulas to find a side or an angle. It's just, if you use these formulas at the top, when you're trying to find an angle, you just have to do a little bit more algebra, and you're more prone to make a mistake. Okay? So, it also works for cosine of B. If you were looking for angle B instead, what would be the setup for the formula? Minus B squared. Okay, you always subtract the side opposite of the angle you're trying to find. At the bottom, it would be 2AC. And 2A and C are all being multiplied together at the bottom. Cosine A would be, cosine C will be set up how? Over 2AB. That's how that will be set up. Okay? So really just like these, it's a set formula. You just plug in, the different side lengths or the angle measures depending on what you're trying to find. Okay? So we're going to look at a few examples. We're going to find A and the missing angles. Okay? We're going to find A and the missing angles. All right, this is an example of side, angle, side. We know two sides and an included angle. All right? But we need to find A and all the other missing angles. Now, the easiest one to find would be side A, clearly. We could not use sine rule here at all, okay? We do not have angle, angle, side, or side, side, angle, or angle, angle, side, okay? So we couldn't even resort to that. We would have to use cosine rule to start this off, okay? So you would set it up. You're looking for A. So it would be A squared equals, follow the rest of the formula. The rest of the formula says what? B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. A is 80 degrees. Okay? And literally, if you write it down, you can literally type this entire line into your calculator. Type this entire line in. I don't suggest you breaking it up into pieces because students tend to square and add the first two and then subtract whatever 2 times 8.9 times 13.2 is. But you can't do that. These numbers right here are all connected together. Okay? They're all connected together. So you would have to multiply them all together before you ever did any subtraction or anything like that. However, if you just go ahead and type the whole thing in, you wouldn't even have to worry about that. You guys get this number? Was it 13.2? Okay. I can press second enter to get that previous line that I just typed in without having to retype it. Now all I have to do is just go back and change all my 7s to 2s. Again, that's second enter. Okay, second enter basically just recopies your entry over again. You gotta get that? Okay, cool. So, a squared is about 2, 1, 2 and some change, but to actually find a, we're gonna need to what? Take the square root. Do not forget to take the square root. Square root second negative. 14.6. Good stuff. Questions on that? Okay? And clearly, if we use what we know about triangles and how they're set up, 14.6 is the longest side out of the 3, correct? So that means that angle A is the largest angle, meaning that when we find B and C, they should be smaller than 80 degrees. Okay? If we end up them being bigger than that, then we did something wrong somewhere. Okay? So now that we know this is 14.6 and some change, we can find B and C. And to be honest, we can find B and C using whichever way. We could use sine rule at this point. We could. Because now we know an angle and a side opposite of it, and we can find the angles using the other 2 sides. Or we can use cosine rule. Me personally, because I want to try to harp on this whole cosine rule thing, I'm going to use cosine rule. Okay? You guys can use sine rule if you like, though. Let's find B. Okay? Cosine of angle B. The formula says what? A squared plus C squared minus B squared all over 2AC. Now we do have to use an answer, previous answer in this, okay? So, you have that feature that allows you to move up your calculator when you're finding, you don't have to worry about this. But if you don't, I am going to type, and if you are going to try to type everything in one line, be careful about your parentheses. Your calculator reads order of operations. So, if you're going to try to type all this in on one line, make sure you include parentheses around your numerator and parentheses around your denominator. Otherwise, the calculator is going to mess up. Okay? So here we go. Do you have to type it in on one line? No. By no means. I am going to use my previous answer, the non-rounded, was 13.2 squared minus 8.9 squared. Wasn't that it? It was minus 8.9 squared. Divided by 2 times my second answer times 13.2. Okay? You can type it in on one line, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can separate them. Just realize that your calculator doesn't allow you to go back up. You're going to have to deal with some issues. Did you guys get this? Yes, you should. Because now we're going to have to do what to find the angle? Take the inverse of cosine. And the thing is that this number needs to be in between -1 and +1. If it's anything outside of that range, you're going to get an error message. Okay? It has to be a number in between -1 and 1 for you to take the cosine or the sine inverse of. So, cosine of B equals 0.799 and some change. So I'm going to do the cosine inverse of that number to get what? To get what? What do you get? 36.9. Anybody not get that answer? All right, how do we find the last angle? You can just what? Add the 2 and subtract it from 180. Yes, use your Knowledge of geometry. Angles in a triangle have to be 180. You could do cosine rule, you could do sine rule, yes. But you can also do this and do the same number. So what is angle C? 60 what? Here we go. Questions? Here we go. All right, which angle did you guys find first?
A.
A, cool. So did you use the cosine A formula?
Yes.
So cosine A equals what? What was the setup?
6.56 squared plus 3.63 squared minus 8.28 squared over 2 times 6.56 times 3.63. I'm not doing this.
Awesome. Okay. Remember, you always subtract the side opposite of the angle that you're trying to find. Okay? And so then whatever this decimal is, you're going to take the cosine inverse of this whole thing. Okay? So hopefully if you did it accurately, you should have ended up with
105.
degrees.
Yeah.
Okay? What angle did you find next? B. Okay? Alphabetical order. That works. Okay, you could have found C first, it didn't matter. We're still together the same numbers. We're doing B. Which side are you subtracting?
6.56.
So you squared that, but then you squared add the other ones. Then you do 2 over the 2 sides that you squared and added. Then, of course, you're looking for an angle, so you take the cosine inverse of that whole thing, and you get what?
49.9.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, got some discrepancies. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this one.
That's 49.9.
Plus, what was the other one? 6?
3.63.
Yeah,
Minus 6.56 squared, right?
No. Oh, wait, yes.
Okay. Then you divide it by 2 times. Wait.
Okay, now we do the foils.
I put everything in parentheses and then I did everything in one line with all the parentheses.
Okay. I'm not quite sure.
You might have missed one number up.
Yeah, or you might miss one number. Maybe miss a parenthesis somewhere. Okay. How do we find C? Minus angle A and angle B, and you get angle C to be what?
25.1.
I have everything exactly.
There we go.
I know that calculator's not.
You don't have to write this one down. This was the, maybe it wasn't the pod for you guys, but at some point in time we did this. Remember we did it with the right triangle? It was the pod. We had to make it the right triangle, and we found the answer to the nearest whole number to be, Lexi, you got yours out? What was it?
Okay, I don't think it was the 5. They're different numbers. I think, well, I'm not sure. But I wrote down the 5.
Remember it was 30 kilometers north. You want a bearing.
Before dropping in here. It's
0, 65, 30, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yes, this one right here. Remember this one from your pod. This was 30. This one was 50, and this one was 65. And we used right triangles to find it. Well, this was clearly an example of side angle side. Okay. So right now you don't have to write this problem down, but I do want you to find it using cosine rule. We know what the answer is because you use right triangles to find it, but let's use cosine rule just to confirm this. Okay. So we're looking for the how far apart shifts A and B were from each other after they dropped anchor. So, realize that yes, A and B represented your shifts. You could have labeled this C, but the truth of the matter is this. You're looking for the side across from the angle that you're given. Okay? And so, whatever side you're looking for, when you're using cosine rule, it's always across from the angle that you're given, like so. Okay? And then the 2 sides, for that side angle side, are the ones that you square. have the minus 2 times 30 times 65 cosine 50. That's how you should set this one up, right? You got a number, and then how do you actually find the value of x? You take the square root of this whole thing. So then, did you guys get 51 when you round to the nearest meter? Awesome job. All right? This is what this figure should have looked like. The diagonals, again, they cut each other in half. So one is 3 and 3, the other one is 4.5 and 4.5. Now you know there's an acute angle in between them. That'll give you a 62-degree angle. Okay? So one angle is 62 degrees. It really doesn't matter whether it was here or here because technically the two sides are going to be the same. Okay? But right here, these are supplementary angles. So what's this angle up here? If this one's 62, this angle here is going to have to be what? 118. So basically what you have is you have two triangles. Okay? You have two triangles where you're trying to find the respective side lengths that are the parallelograms. Okay? You have one that's 4.5, one that's 3 with a 62-degree angle. And then you have another one, which is 3 and 4.5 and 118-degree angle. And you're trying to find that side. Two cosine rules that you have to set up. Okay? But they are similar to each other. One was 4.5 squared plus 3 squared minus 2, 4.5 times 3 cosine 62. You are going to have to take the square root of that. And what do you get? Period. Like 10? Oh, 10.3. Okay. Another answer. Let's figure this out. And so the x dimension is 4.07 centimeters. Okay? Find y. Similar setup. 3 squared plus 4.5 squared minus 2 times 3 times 4.5 cosine 118. Don't forget to take the square root after you're done. Is the value for y. Alright? For this particular problem, the only thing you know for sure is that ship A is sailing east for 28 kilometers. And ship B leaves from the same port and sails 49 kilometers. That means that they could have left port and sailed going up 49 kilometers, or going down for 49 kilometers. Okay? So whether you did it going that way or that way, you would have ended up with two different answers, but that's okay. Both answers would have been acceptable. However, if you did it this way, the way with the pink, your bearing would have been 90 degrees plus whatever angle this was here. So you had to add 90 to whatever you got when you did cosine rule there. And you would have gotten what? What was your answer?
136.5
One-
or 137.
It would have been 137 degrees. If you did it this way, you would have had to do 90 minus whatever this angle was. And you would have gotten what? 0.43.5. Remember to include your 0 if it's less than 3 digits, and